And hello everyone, welcome once again. This is Logan with Decode Your Reality, and today we're doing one on God and what God has to do with the occult, and all the occult aspects. Got a lot of material to cover here today. I got some quantum physics over here and what that has to do with God, what Torus Field has to do with the occult for that matter. Got some tarot in here, got the star card, the world card. Over to the middle of the page, I got the Kaballah system, whether that's Q or K, however you spell it, it does not make a difference. It's all the same thing. What that has to do, we got astrology, and the centerpiece is the planet Saturn. This is really where I got started. Decoding Reality is the number 26/8 and the planet Saturn. Over to the far right here, we have a little bit of science. And the bottom right-hand corner, we even have some music and Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon. I also have the number 11. I believe the number 11 is the number of magic and how that all ties into all this. And we're going to show that using the septenary system, and that's primarily how we get all this information from. We start decoding through dramatrinator.com. It's a free site you can go to, and anybody can start decoding at their own free will. You just make sure you want to check off the box in the septenary aspect underneath ciphers and other. It's located right here. All right. So the reason why I use septenary, and I believe this one is how our English language is coded above and beyond everything else, is because the septenary system mimics the microcosm in our reality, and in that it uses the numbers 1 through 7. As you can see, A equals 1, B equals 2, and so on. But it stops at the G, the number 7, and then goes back down to the number 1, literally creating a mirror of itself, and then it repeats itself from the N through the Z. So it splits the alphabet in half, 13 and 13, the 26 letters in our alphabet, and it just so happens that the planet Saturn equals the number 26, which is how many letters we have in the alphabet, 26. Quite fascinating, but this is where we're decoding from, and I believe that it has everything to do with the microcosm, the Vesica Pisces. As you can see, the bigger symbol here, the two circles that intertwine, creating this almond-shaped, the Vesica Pisces. If you fancy religion, here's the fish, the Pisces, the Piscean fish right here. But inside that almond shape right here is where the microcosm is, and this is where our chakra systems are. It's the 7 chakras, the 1 through the 7, and we have the musical notes, the C, D, E, F, G, A, B, right inside this microcosm. And that's why I believe that if you're going to decode, you got to do it using the septenary. Septenary in Latin means of the 7, and that's why I believe this is the big boy to decode from, based upon this right here that we're encased in, this microcosm. Now, interestingly, as you can see through the musical notes, you have the 1 through 7, the C to the B, but then it starts over again with the 7 again at the higher octave on the 8th position, which quite possibly could be the God force, the heavens above. Maybe this is the firmament, invoking our Vesica Pisces where we reside in. This is also a Torus Field, and we're going to get into that as well, which is what we have right here, the Torus Field, and what the human, what our human being existence is right inside here, this electrical field. It all has to do with Torus fields. And I want to digress and, give out some appreciation to this guy right here, Santos Bonacci, a friend of mine. I mean, this guy is a genius. He's given me so much wisdom and education on how our reality works. He's all about what's called syncretism, which is the blending of several different elements or foundations that are taught in today's society. And you got to go back all the way to the ancient systems up till now to kind of figure things out. This guy is a leader. He's absolutely an amazing individual. I'd highly suggest subscribing to his channel, Mr. Astrotheology. He's got hundreds of videos on so many different topics. What a great guy. What a gift from the gods right here. This guy is quite amazing. And he is really kind of where I got the idea to start going into this and decoding God, because the Torus Field is what God is all about. And when you break it down into the numbers, it's absolutely fascinating. It's so fascinating when you get into these numbers, because the numbers really speak to us, right? And, if you understand what a Torus field is, we go into the Wikipedia, I mean, it's just a donut is what it really is. And everything's contained inside this Torus field. It's obviously geometry, but it's a surface of revolution generated by a three-dimensional space. It's really what it is. And that's really where we get all these numbers from, is contained inside this torus field. It's the red shift to the blue shift, or the blue shift descending down to the red shift. And what I mean by that is inside the torus field, you have at the very top called the blue shift, and the blue shift is a decrease in the wavelength going down and as below, and then the red shift is the perception of the light going up, which is the as above. And that's where we get the torus field aspect. The root chakra, as we mentioned right here, let me just digress a little bit here. And we get from the root chakra, this is the red shift, and then we go up the ladder, Jacob's ladder, to the blue shift, to the crown chakra, which is where we ascend to. This is where we want to get to. Obviously, the third eye is on the 6th level, the completion, the mastery. God created the heavens and the earth on this. He finished on the 6th day, rested on the 7th. So obviously 6 is about completion and mastery. That's why, 666, it's such a hexed word or number, but it's really just the magic square of the sun. But we're not going to get into that. But 6 is definitely a master number, and obviously it has everything to do with the pineal gland or the third eye right there. So that's what the torus field's all about. It really gets into the microcosm, and when we break the information down, I want to show you guys first. I'm all about the planet Saturn and the number 26, which of course is the offspring of the number 11, which is about magic. And it's interesting because if you study quantum physics, quantum equals the number 26, and I even have quantum here, which is a discrete quantity of energy in magnitude to the frequency of the radiation it represents. That's quantum, and it just so happens to equal the number 26. You think Saturn has anything to do with it? You bet your bottom dollar it does. According to the numbers here, it absolutely has everything to do with that. Let's break this down. Even the word Taurus equals the number 26. And when we break the numbers down on an individualistic basis, look at what we get. We get the number 7766. So the Torus is the expression of the 77, the perfect number twice, into the mastery number twice, 66, which just so happens to equal the number 26. And then it goes into the field, the Torus field, and field just so happens to be a double 11, a 22, the 11, 11. We have the 65, the 6 and the 5 marrying into the 11, and then the 5, 2 is a 7, and it goes into the number 4, it marries the 4, and it's an 11. So it's an 11, 11, or the 22, 7, 7, 11, 11, 11. Absolutely fascinating when you break these words down, The word frequency has a breakdown of the numbers 77 going into the 5. And we mentioned 5. Let me back up here and show you guys. The number 5 is the manifestation level on this planet that we all reside upon. The 5 is where we manifest everything. The I am. The letter I equals the number 5. It is where we manifest everything on. And of course, it's tied to the throat chakra because we communicate on the 5, the spoken word. Everything we speak is a magic spell. The manifestation of the spoken word, the 5. A lot of expressions of marketing try to keep us in the 5. The $5 footlongs and the 555, and everything's the 5 because they want to keep you grounded in the 5. They want to keep you grounded in the I am. They don't want to get you to the level 6 where your third eye opens, but it's the marrying of the 5 to the 6, which equals an 11, to move into the crown chakra of the 7. So really that's where it's at. And that's what frequency is all about. Frequency is a 77. It's a master number twice, moving into the resigning aspect of the 5 where we're at, 77 into the 5. Absolutely fascinating. Here's Vegas, Las Vegas with the slot machines. Why do they choose 777? Why not choose 555? Because 777 has a lot of significance to the lightning flash of creation. It's a very special number. Unfortunately, Las Vegas, I think they've hijacked it in correlation to black magic and keeping you kind of stuck there. It's funny because 777, 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. 21's related to the world card, and the world card we all know is, if you know the tarot, is related to Saturn. So we're going to get into all this kind of stuff. And, this is really absolutely fascinating right here. This right here is the 20 letters of the alphabet. Now, there's 26, of course, but we're subtracting all the vowels, and we're just concentrating on just the consonants. Now in numerology, there's what's called the personality number. Okay, you can obviously fact check this. If you study numerology, numerology is where it's at, really. And numerology says that your personality number is your ego, the world perceives you as, your outward expression. And it just so happens that all the consonants in our alphabet, all 20 of them, equal the number 77. You think that's done on accident, or you think that has anything to do with frequency and Torus field? You bet your bottom dollar it does. I guarantee you it does. Now, to the right of the consonants, we have the vowels broken down. A, E, I, O, U, and Y. Yes, Y is definitely used as a vowel sometimes. So we put those all together and we get the number 21. Again, the 777, the world card. If you break down the word Jehovah, one of the words used to describe the tetragrammaton, and you remove the vowels just like they do in the Hebrew language, the IH or the YH, VH, you get the number 21. The great significance there, man, that tells us the story right there of what this really, really means. I mean, keep in mind, the J didn't even come into effect at a later time, so they introduced this at a much later time in the period of our history compared to the IHVH. So really, it's kind of fascinating, really. They introduced this later on, but it still equals the 21. Really, really absolutely fascinating there. If you get into the Vedic systems over here to the left, you have the word Brahma, which of course is the higher reality, the God force. That has the numbers 7, 7, 11. Now you think, I mean, come on, where do we come up with these things? It's all in the spoken word. It's absolutely fascinating. 7, 7, 11, the same as the Torus field, moving through the 7, 7, 6, 6, 11. I mean, all this stuff ties in together. I think it's kind of irrefutable at this point, even if you don't understand numerology. I mean, if you just have a basic concept of the septenary system, I mean, it's kind of, the evidence is overwhelmingly true and rings true on what these numbers all mean. The Brahman, which is who we are, breaks down to the 5-3, which is a 17. And interestingly, even the word man has the 111. So Bra is the 7-7, but man is the 111, 333. We're the offspring of the Brahma, the Brahman. And just so happens that Brahman equals 17, the star card in the Tarot system. Aleister Crowley's made famous for really introducing all this stuff, in my opinion. But the Tarot system says that we're all a star. You know, we're all offsprings, and of course this is probably, the big star in the middle is probably representing Sirius. But anyway, 17 equals the same as Brahman, which equals the same as magic. Kind of interesting there. We're going to get into the aspects of magic. Aleister Crowley changed it from the C, added the K onto that, which carried on the M-A. This is really where I found all the 11 aspect. M-A, magic, it's a 2-syllable word. It starts off with the numbers 11. I believe that this is the glue that binds the 1-1, the double ego, really the root, the double root. But the magic, and then it changed the G-I-C to a G-I-C-K, creating the number 18. Now, if you know anything about Aleister Crowley, the Book of Liber, the 7-7, and the Qualibistic writings, the had it and the knew it, the offspring, is the number 1-8. That's what it says in his books. You can fact check this all you want. It's quite fascinating, and magic equals the number 21. And that really kind of goes down to what Aleister Crowley changed abracadabra, which is right here. Abracadabra equals the number 26, but he changed it to abrahadabra, and had it is one of the elements in his formalization. Had it and knew it, and had is short, but had just so happens to equal the 6 and the 5, the 6 plus 1 plus 4, that equals the 11. That's why I'm saying this is the glue that binds the magical number. Abra, had, and then abra again equals the 29/11. Just so happens the word illusion, what happens in magic? The illusion. We're presented with illusions. Isn't that what happens in magic? It just so happens that that equals the number 29/11. We're going to get into all that kind of stuff as well. Let's come back up right here. Back to the Torus field. Again, it's the red shift to the blue shift. The energy, the ascension, going up Jacob's ladder. You want to get up to this element here. Red and blue just so happen to equal the 29. And it's fascinating because red is the 5, blue is the 6. And when we go back to the actual break down inside the vesica Pisces, we have the throat, the 5, the manifestation of the I am, into the 6, the 5 to the 6, which equals the number 11, which is represented right here, the red and the blue, right there, the 29/11. The word creation equals the number 29/11. And you know, abra, I believe if you really do the etymology on this, I'm pretty sure this means open sesame. And if we look at that word abra, it breaks down to the 3, 6, 9, the 3 and the 6 and the 9. And then of course we all know, if you've studied any of if you've ever studied of anything of Nikola Tesla, we type in the 369 and we put in Tesla there. Hold on, sorry about that. You can find out all the information on what he said was the keys to the universe was the 369, and that is it right there, Abra. It opens up. It opens up the door. And that's why everything on the magic spells and everything was abracadabra. A lot of history to that word right there. I know the spelling's been changed a couple times from what I've studied from, but it's interesting because that word equals the number 26, which equals the number Saturn. It's quite absolutely fascinating. Getting back to that, the word open equals the number 11, which is tied into Abra, because that's what it means, open, right? So the 369 opens up the higher frequencies of our being, the higher dimensions, and it opens it up, and that's why the spoken word, everything we say is a magic spell. That's why they say, how do you spell your name? What's the spelling of your name? We're all casting spells, whether you know it or not. When you speak, you cast a spell, so be careful what you say. That's why they say, be careful what you wish for, because your wish just might come true. You think there's anything to do with this right here. You ain't got to say abracadabra for things to come true. I can promise you that. So, you know, again, quantum equals 26. The word universe, look at what universe, it's a 3-syllable word. But verse is the last piece that rolls off your tongue. That equals the number 26. Do you think that's tied into Saturn? I promise you it is. The word start equals the number 26. The start of our universe. Absolutely fascinating there. We can come over to the right side. And, you know, God really is represented by fire. Fire equals the number 21. It's interesting when we break this one down, you get the 11 to the 55. What is manifested on our level of the 5? The 11 going to the 55. That's really where it's at. The fire is represented by the world card, the last major card in major arcana. Done on purpose, you know. Lord God equals the number 26. In the Bible, it's presented to us over and over. If you've watched any of Marty Leeds' work, he's been showing this over and over, Lord God. It's in the Bible. Go look it up yourself. That equals the number 26. Just like the word Malkuth. Malkuth representing this number 10 right here at the very bottom of the tree of life in the Kaballah. Malkuth. I don't care how you spell it. I don't care the origin of the word. I'm decoding it from the English language. Malkuth has a numerology of 26 right there. You can fact check it yourself, connected directly to Saturn. The word element, I mean, what does the creation aspect come into? It comes into elements. And, you know, any of the 4 substances, air, water, fire, and earth, formerly believed to compose the physical universe, that's the definition of element. If we add the letter S to it as in a plural aspect, elements, we get the number 6 here, and that has significance because it's an offspring, you know, Satan, sin, snake, you know, they all start off with the number 6. And of course, if you want to say there is an existence of Satan, well, you probably say he's a master at what he does. And the number 6 is represented by the mastery level and master number right there. So a great significance right there. Here's the elements that are made up. Here's the elements that make up our very existence. The carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. These are the big 7 right here. And these are actually called CHNOPS, which is an abbreviation of the carbon through the sulfur. You know, and if this is off of Wikipedia, this is obviously in capital letters done on purpose, because when you decode this, you get the number 21. And what do we say 21 was? Fire, the beginning of everything. 21 is the world card, the creation, the top of the major arcana. Just so happens all the elements equal the number 21. Quite fascinating there. Cause equals the number 21. What is fire? Fire is the cause of everything. And what's the effect? Effect is the number 32. Cause is the 21. Effect is the 32. And look at the offspring of effect. You get the Christ and you get the Luciferian aspect. Lucifer and Christ both share the number 32. I'd like to think that possibly these guys share the same energy, just like, black magic and white magic. It's all derived from one energy. What you do with it is pertaining to your intention, but this possibly could mean the same aspects of the 32, the Christ and the Lucifer, both effects off of the cause. Absolutely fascinating right there. If we go back here, the number 21 again, related to the carbon through the sulfur, if we type that into the Roman numerals, the XX1, we get the number 11. Again, the number 11 is the number of magic, guys. Right here, we direct it to the dark side of the moon equals the number 83/11. 8 plus 3 equals the 11. And if we look over here to our left, we have the word illumination, which equals the number 38, which is the reversal or mirror of the 83. You think there's any significance there? I'd like to think so. Now, this is really where I got started, the number 11. I really look at it as a symbol or a glyph, the energy going up, the energy coming down, contained all inside the 3.14 pi, the zero, the circle. This is the God force. This is what God's all about. This is actually the logo for alternating current. And as you can see, this is the sine wave right here that's contained all the energy, electricity inside the pi, 3.14, the as above, so below, right there. That's the logo for alternating current. And when we look at and we break down alternating current, we get the number 74, which is a 7 plus 4 equals the 11, all tied to the 11. What is God? He's omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. And what does that break down to? A 1, 1, 1. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And, people say arbitrarily I'm putting this stuff out. I mean, I beg to differ. I'd like to see how they can kind of refute this information, because this stuff, man, when you start to break it down, it becomes kind of irrefutable, really. I mean, it really, really is absolutely fascinating, all these spoken words and broken down into numbers. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thanks for watching.